Welcome back, Giants fans, MTN Giants podcast. As I'm recording, we're about 48 hours from the NFL draft. I'm doing this Tuesday night. And I told you guys last week I'd make a video kind of going over the latest rumors and all that before the draft happened. So I guess some stuff's came out since then. I talked to you guys, I think, last Thursday or Wednesday. So some more rumors obviously have came out, and there's interesting stuff to go over. So we'll go over all these quotes I wrote down. I put them all in a Google Doc, and they're all from people that are pretty plugged in. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. Leave a like, subscribe, all that, and let's get into it. So I guess we'll start off with the draft odds as we stand here today. So number 2 overall is Jaden Daniels at minus 400, which there was some questions about that in the last couple days. It still seems like it'll be Daniels. Maybe he's not thrilled about being a Commander, but oh well, he'll probably be one anyway. Number 3 is Drake Maye minus 300. So that's interesting. It's Maye minus 300, Daniels plus 350, McCarthy plus 400. So it seems like pick 3 is going to be a quarterback. Marvin Harrison Jr. is next at plus 1100. You're thinking the last remaining of the top 3 quarterbacks is going at number 3 overall. But there are rumors that maybe the Patriots will trade back. It doesn't seem like it, though. There was a quote that I put in this Google Doc from somebody. It was Daniel Jeremiah today on Ryan Russillo's podcast. He said he spoke to a GM that said the Patriots will not trade back. That pick is not for sale. So you do hear otherwise, but I'm just going off this one quote. That's the thing about this time of year. There's so many different quotes from well-respected people. So they might say one thing, another person might say the exact opposite. Sometimes you have to just use your best critical thinking skills and kind of think for yourself. And if I'm putting myself in the Patriots' shoes, I mean, yeah, if I'm getting like a ridiculous haul, maybe I would trade that pick. But for the most part, it's probably going to be Drake Maye. Where things get interesting is at number 4, it's Marvin Harrison Jr. minus 225, so really good odds for him to go 4th overall. Right behind him is J.J. McCarthy at plus 180. I've heard from different podcasts and whatnot that it seems like the Cardinals want to take Marvin Harrison Jr. Of course, their GM, Monty Ossenfort, likes to trade back. He likes to maneuver the draft. Like last year, he traded back. They got that extra first-round pick from the Texans, and then they traded back up to take the right tackle. I forget his name now. But so they made 2 trades in the top 10 last year. So the Cardinals can definitely be a team that tries to maneuver, but right now it has them taking Marvin Harrison Jr. Number 5, this is interesting too. So J.J. McCarthy is the favorite at number 5. There are rumors that maybe the Chargers would trade back. I've heard people say that they don't want to trade back. So once again, you got to think for yourself. What do they want to do? I'm thinking it's going to be Neighbors, but he's a plus 260. McCarthy's the favorite at number 5 at plus 240. Then Marvin Harrison Jr. at plus 250. Neighbors plus 260. Joe Alt is plus 425. I don't know. I mean, I still think they're going to go receiver unless they trade that pick. And then number 6 for the Giants, you have Malik Neighbors plus 150 as the favorite. Rome Odunze at plus 250. And then J.J. McCarthy at plus 500. Based on the odds, the top 2 guys at pick number 6, unless the Giants trade up, are 2 wide receivers. And the main question, if you're a Giants fan for this draft, is are they going to go wide receiver or are they going to go quarterback? And we still don't know the answer, which makes it fun because we really have no idea. There's been drafts in the past where, like the Kayvon Thibodeau draft, it was like, yeah, we need an edge rusher and a tackle. So you knew by that point it was going to be Kayvon and either Evan Neal or Ike Ekwonu, like one of those guys. But for this year, there's so many different possibilities and so much that has to happen in the top 5 for the Giants to even get to that point and be like, all right, what do we do? Now, there is a chance that McCarthy just straight up falls to number 5. I guess it wouldn't be the most shocking thing. Or falls in number 6, I'm sorry. So there's a chance he falls in number 6. And if he does fall to 6, and based on what I've heard, and I'm sure you guys have heard that the Giants met with J.J. McCarthy during Easter. Like, you don't do that if you're not actually interested. Like, that's not a smokescreen type of thing. So there is legitimate interest in J.J. McCarthy for the Giants. It just depends, does he fall to 6? And if the Vikings are not trading up, which maybe they will, maybe they won't, I believe they're pick number 12, so it's a longer way up, right? So the Giants have the advantage because they are pick 6 and they would have to trade up just 1 or 2 spots to guarantee one of the top 4 quarterbacks. But would the Giants trade up a spot or 2 just to get J.J. McCarthy? That's the real question. I mean, I don't think they will. There are quotes that say otherwise and say that the Giants are really trying to trade up in this draft. But when people do say that, I do believe that they're talking about Drake Maye. Like, I think when people say the Giants want to trade up in this draft, it's for Drake Maye. I don't think it's for J.J. McCarthy. I think for McCarthy, if he is sitting there at 6 and they don't have to trade up, I think the Giants would pull the trigger and they would take him. But if they have to trade up to get McCarthy, I don't think they'll do that. That's how I feel personally. Once again, we're all speculating here, but that's how I feel about it. But if he is there at 6, no trade up needed, I do think McCarthy would be a Giant. All right, let's read some of these quotes that I've written down, or most of them are tweets anyway, but I copied and pasted them. So first one from Art Stapleton. I think this was 2 days ago he posted this, but Art Stapleton said, "Been hearing rumblings that the Vikings likely have parameters of a deal in place if their quarterback is on the clock, whether that's at 3, 4, or 5. Would imagine the Giants will know a price for them as well. Should Joe Schoen decide to move up from 6. That'll be their effort in the days leading up to the draft. It's the only way to be prepared to make a deal while on the clock without giving away their plans, and the rest is not important." So yeah, I mean, if Art Stapleton is hearing the truth, then he's basically saying that, yeah, the Vikings have a trade in place and have the parameters of a deal in place to trade up to the top 5 if the guy they want is still there. And I've heard that they love Maye. I've heard that they love McCarthy. I feel like a month ago or so, the McCarthy to the Vikings rumors were very hot. But in the past week or so, it's been more so like, oh, the Vikings really want Drake Maye. So I kind of trust the latest rumors more. So I'm assuming that the Vikings really want Drake Maye. Once again, could be wrong, but that's what I've seen. There was the quote from Joe Schoen at his presser, I think this was last week. He said he was surprised by the number of calls he has received from teams behind them interested in trading up to number 6 overall. So I guess it's not much of a surprise. Like teams like Denver and teams like even the Raiders, and there's another quarterback needy team in that area. I forget who it is now, but the Vikings. I think I didn't say them. Yeah, the Vikings. So there's teams that are like 5, 6, 7 picks behind the Giants that do need quarterbacks. And if for some reason McCarthy is at 6 and the Giants don't take him, I think there is a chance they trade back, which I don't hate the idea of trading back, but I think if you're at 6 and McCarthy's there, I'd prefer them just to take McCarthy. But once again, I do like McCarthy more than most people, it seems like. So I understand if they don't, but I would. So there is a chance that if McCarthy's at 6, that the Giants may get a few calls from, most notably probably Denver and probably Minnesota to try and trade up to our pick. Now, the Giants would get the Minnesota's pick this year, which I believe once again is 11 or 12. So they would get that pick. I'm sure they would get a next year's first round pick. So it might be worth it, especially if you're not going to pick a quarterback. But if you move from 6 to 11 or 6 to 12, you're not going to get one of those top 3 wide receivers. So that's the downside. So I'm assuming that if the Vikings do trade up with the Giants and McCarthy is still there, that means that 2 of the top 3 receivers are going to be gone, and you would have to hope that most likely Rome Odunze falls another 5 or 6 spots to the Vikings pick. So it's a lot to ask for. So I don't see them trading back, but it is a possibility. I heard someone else say the same exact thing. I forget who it was now. Oh, it was Todd McShay. He said the same thing today about how the Giants are looking to trade up, but they're also not ruling out the possibility of trading back in the draft. There was another Joe Schoen quote I wanted to bring up, and this is kind of old once again, but he was asked about how comfortable he is with the Giants quarterback room, and Joe Shane said, with Drew's experience, Drew Lock, Daniel's experience, and what Tommy did last year, we could go into the season with the three that we have, and I'd be comfortable with that. So I remember when that quote came out, I posted some type of like unemployment forms or something, or unemployment papers, just to be funny. Of course, you have people that can't take a joke and are like, you really think he's gonna go up there and say exactly how he feels? Like, no, I understand. This is GM speak. I get it, bro. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There probably is not much truth to this. It's probably not worth going over, but it's kind of interesting that he put Drew Lock's name first over Daniel. So maybe that's something. There's another, like, that's not that much of a conspiracy, but there's another conspiracy that I want to get to at the end. I tweeted this out today, so if you follow me on Twitter, maybe you saw it, but I do want to go over this because I think it's kind of interesting, but we'll get to that. Next one on the list here is from Jordan Ranon. Two things that stood out to me most from GM Joe Shane's press conference from this week. Number one, he said we're not one player away. He's being realistic about the state of the team. Number two, Shane mentioned being surprised by the amount of teams that want to trade up to number 6, which I already mentioned. So I think the number one part is the one we'll focus on. Number one, we're not one player away. I really, really wish that they saw this last year and realized last offseason that they were not one player away, but they didn't, and they handed out that monstrosity of a contract to Daniel Jones, and it is what it is now, and they seem done with him, but at least now they get it. They did make the Brian Burns trade, which I guess from the outside looking in is somewhat of a win-now type trade, but I think we know why the Giants did it. He's like 25, 26, new contract, team control. It was more for a move for like 2025, 26, 27. I don't think they made that Brian Burns trade just for next year. Like, I don't see that being the case, especially with the big contract they gave him as well. So that's not the case. It's good to see them, or at least it's good to see Joe Shane at least acknowledging that they're not one player away and that this is still a rebuild. I do like that. So I'm hoping that there's no stupid draft picks made. Hoping there's no offensive lineman taken 6 overall. That would drive me crazy. Things like that. So I just hope that they stay on this timeline and don't, accelerate the process for no reason. Like, stick with the rebuild. You have this offseason and next offseason to build the team the right way. And then in 2025, hopefully, is when this team can really compete for what hopefully is more than just the playoffs. I hope. So we'll see. Adam Schefter on Pat McAfee, I think this was yesterday or 2 days ago. He said, the two teams that have expressed the most interest in moving up have been the Vikings and the Giants. The most likely scenario is that the Commanders stay at number 2 and take Jaden Daniels. So Adam Schefter, of course, one of the most plugged-in guys, he went on to say that. And I think it's no secret that the Giants want to trade up. I really don't think it's much of a secret, but will they do it? I don't know. If the Patriots are listening for offers, which some sources say they are, some say they're not. But if the Patriots realistically are listening to offers, I could see a case where number 3 is up on the draft. Number 3, or the third pick, is up during the draft on Thursday, and you get the alert that, a team has traded up, and the Patriots have traded back. And I would not be surprised if that team that trades up is the New York Giants. It would not shock me at all. Now, the cost from getting from 6 to 3, it shouldn't be that crazy, but it will be, because this is a draft that has 3 presumably franchise-level quarterbacks. So to trade up from 6 to 3, it's going to cost you this year's first, maybe this year's second, next year's first, maybe a third next year or a fourth. Like, it's going to cost a lot. It's not like, we'll give you our first this year and our first next year and we'll call it a day. I don't see that being the trade. If the Patriots are trading at a 3, it's got to be for a lot. And the Vikings have 2 first-round picks this year. They could trade Justin Jefferson. Like, that is a great asset right there. I'm not saying they will, but they could if they wanted to that badly. So they can just dangle that in front of the Patriots like, hey, you guys want a wide receiver that badly? Yeah, how about Justin Jefferson? So, yeah, I mean, that might work too. The Vikings probably have more assets, and that's just the reality of the situation. But what the Giants have going for them is that they pick 6, and the Vikings pick outside of the top 10. So that's the one thing we have going for us. But aside from that, it seems like the Vikings do have more assets. Now, this is from Diana Rossini, who sometimes is accurate, sometimes she's not. But she went on to say, the New England Patriots are listening and taking calls from teams looking to trade into the top 3. While GM Elliott Wolf is running points, I'm told Patriots president Jonathan Kraft is heavily involved in the decision-making. Which, for Patriots fans, I'm sorry. I hate to hear that for you guys because that reminds me of the Maras, but yeah, that's a damn shame. But if that's true, then once again, that's one source saying that the Patriots are looking to, take calls and see what they can get. But other sources that I heard from before, and that being Daniel Jeremiah, which I heard today on the Ryan Russillo podcast once again, he said that the Patriots pick is not for sale. But people like Diana are going to say the pick might be for sale. So once again, who do you want to believe? I mean, I think they'll listen to it personally. They'll listen to offers, but they have to be blown away. Like, it really might take 3 first-round picks. It might take the Giants' first-round pick this year, next year, and the year after, and maybe other stuff to move up to 3. It might take that much. Personally, because I want a quarterback that badly, I might do it. I might. I would not hear that offer from the Patriots and laugh about it. I would think about it. I'd be like, all right, 3 first-round picks, which is really 2 because you're moving up this year. So it's like you're trading next year's first and the year after's first. So it's 2 first-round picks, basically. And let's say you throw in a third and a fifth or something, like 3 first-round picks, a third and a fifth to move up from 6 to 3. Would I do that for Drake Maye? I probably would. I would. Like, maybe I'm a jackass for saying that, and you'll have the one troll comment, this is why you're not a GM. Like, I get it, buddy. Thanks. Personally, though, I would do it because I think Drake Maye is going to be good. I don't think he's in Caleb Williams' tier, but I do think Maye is in a tier of his own. It's Caleb for me. It's Maye. And then I have McCarthy and Jaden Daniels in the same tier, which maybe is disrespectful to Jaden Daniels, but that's how I feel personally. The next quote is from Peter Schrager. I've been on the phones nonstop for the past 48 hours, and I've got some interesting updates. There will be trades up, and there will be trades down. I think the top 6 quarterbacks, including Penix and Nix, could all go in the first half of the first round. That would be interesting. So all 6 quarterbacks in the first half of the first round, which would mean that Bo Nix probably goes to Denver, which I had in my mock, so that'd be a W, and probably Penix going to the Raiders, I think. Like, that would make sense. I think all those teams are in the top 13, so the top half of the draft. If Schrager's correct here, that would be crazy. I can't think of a time when 6 quarterbacks went in the top 16 picks, and it might be 13 picks at this point, so that'd be pretty crazy. So yeah, those are the quotes I wrote down. Maybe I'm missing stuff. I'll just check Twitter one more time before I stop looking at these quotes. See, this is interesting. I just saw this. This is from that Pretty Ricky account, which I do believe it's been confirmed. This is the real guy that was predicting a lot of stuff in free agency. So he got his account back. Oh, wait, he just said it's not Justin Jefferson. So anyway, he tweeted that I can confirm that there will be a new highest paid wide receiver that will be announced before the draft. Now, I was thinking that, does that mean Jefferson's going to the Patriots and they're going to sign him to a big contract? Now, he just quote tweeted that saying, it's not Jay Jetta, but a big cat team. Meow. Hashtag meow. Is that T. Higgins maybe? Like, I can't think of making T. Higgins the most highly paid wide receiver, but maybe. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't do it personally. Who else? Big cat. Lions? Amon-Ra St. Brown, maybe? I thought he got extended, but I don't know, maybe it's him. So anyway, so here's one I missed from about noon today, 12:30, 12:29, and it was Peter Schrager on Pat McAfee's show, and Schrager said, I think Drake Maye goes at number 3, and I'm hearing that the Vikings and Giants are trying to get up. If the Patriots aren't sold on Maye, they could trade back and try to draft J.J. McCarthy. That's playing a dangerous game, though, which he's right. So I've heard this idea. I forget where. It might have been Giant Spaces, honestly, or somebody else. But I've heard the idea of the Patriots going from pick 3 to pick 4, the Giants going from pick 6 to pick 3, and the Cardinals going from pick 4 to pick 6, I think is how this is all working out. Yeah, because in that case, the Giants would be 3rd, Patriots would be 4th, and the Cardinals would be 6th. If the Giants at 3, they want Drake Maye, so the Giants get their guy. The Patriots apparently might not be sold on Drake Maye, and they might want J.J. McCarthy just as much. So, okay, the Patriots at 4, they get McCarthy. Then 2 picks later at pick 6 would be the Cardinals, who originally had the 4th pick, but they dropped back 2 spots. But once again, 4 quarterbacks go in the top 4 picks in this scenario, so you're probably missing out on Marvin Harrison Jr., who goes to the Chargers probably in this scenario, but you're getting Malik Neighbors at number 6, and you're also getting extra draft capital from going 4 to 6. So it's one of those rare instances where a 3-team trade might actually work. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but it's an idea that's out there, and it would not be the most shocking thing because it actually makes a lot of sense. If the it all comes down to what the Patriots want. If the Patriots on Thursday realize, we don't really love Drake Maye that much. Like we kind of like JJ McCarthy more. If they sit there and say that, there's no reason to. I mean, I guess there would be a reason, but like they don't have to take him at 3. They can easily try and trade back 1 spot and work out this 3-team trade to get extra draft assets, and I think it makes sense. Of course, it might not happen. The Patriots can say F it and just take McCarthy at 3, which would be awesome. But I don't necessarily expect that. But if this happens, it'd be great for us. I mean, we get the guy we want. Yeah, there'd be a lot of draft capital given up, but 3 teams leave with the guy they wanted. So that'd be nice. But ultimately, I still think the Patriots will take Drake Maye on Thursday, but it's not set in stone, which makes it pretty exciting. I mean, that's pretty much all I got. I tried checking group chats and Twitter and all that, but nothing really new. So I'm sure tomorrow during the day there will be a lot more speculation as we approach 24 hours before the draft. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun time. I took off work Friday, as I tend to do on draft night, because I'm probably going to be up late watching the draft and then making a reaction to the draft. So that's always fun. But yeah, I mean, there's not many things they could do that would really piss me off. I'm trying to think of what would be the worst case scenario. I think, I like Joe Alt as a prospect. I do. I think he'll be very good. I feel like the floor is very high with Joe Alt, but not for the Giants. I just don't want that at all. Malik Neighbors, I'm a big fan of. I do want a quarterback, but I like Neighbors a lot as a prospect. McCarthy, I'd be fine with. I don't know if I'll be jumping for joy for McCarthy, but I'll be kind of happy. All right, they got their guy. Shane got his guy. Dable got his guy. And let's ride, to quote Russell Wilson. I think the one that would realistically not piss me off, but I'd be kind of would be Rome Odunze. I think Odunze is going to be fine. He's going to be a good outside receiver. He runs great routes. He can get open. He has solid hands. His yards after the catch could be a bit better, but he's just a solid receiver. He'll be fine. He'll be a top 15 guy probably. I don't know. It wouldn't be the most exciting pick for me. I find Malik Neighbors way more exciting. I think the ceiling's higher. Odunze is you know what you're getting. You're getting a good outside receiver. That's going to be, once again, a top 15, maybe top 10 receiver one day, which is fine. That's fine for a 6th overall pick, but it would just, once again, be okay, cool, whatever. The thing that would really get me excited, though, is a trade up for Drake Maye. And that's where I stand today. That's what I want. Once again, if it takes 3 first-round picks and more to do it, I would still do it. I would trade the 2024 first-round pick, which, of course, is this year's 6th overall pick. I would trade a 2025 first overall pick, a 2026 first round pick. I kept saying first overall. First round pick. I would throw in a 3rd, maybe another 3rd in 2026, whatever the hell they want, really, as long as it's somewhat reasonable. I would do that trade to get Drake Maye. I feel very highly about him. He has, Drake Maye has openly been flirting with the Giants throughout this draft process. The man wants to be a Giant. He says he was a big fan of Eli Manning. I want this to happen. This would be great. This would re-energize our fan base, and it would make Giants football the most enjoyable it's been in a very long time. So I hope that it happens. I'm not going to get my hopes up because chances are this won't happen. But at the end of the day, if you're Joe Schoen and you can make that move, which may cost 3 first-round picks, I would still do it. I mean, this is your job, buddy. Like, you might as well, if you're Joe Schoen, you might as well put it all out there and get your guy. If they feel that highly about Drake Maye, which apparently they do, everyone you hear from says, oh, a couple teams really love Drake Maye, the Giants and the Vikings. Like, every time Drake Maye's brought up, people then say after that, oh, the Giants really love Drake Maye. Like, if you love him that much, go and get him. The Patriots apparently have not closed the door on trading that pick. If you blow them away with an offer, which you can do, you can get Drake Maye. So I hope they do it. That's how I feel. Does it feel good trading your next 2-year first-round picks? I mean, no, obviously not. Like, it's going to suck. But think about quarterbacks now that are elite. Like, do you think that the Chiefs would care if they traded 5 first-round picks for Mahomes? No, they got Pat Mahomes. Would the Bills care if they traded 5 first-round picks for Josh Allen? No, it's Josh Allen. Would the Chargers care if they traded 4 first-round picks for Herbert? I mean, probably not. So, like these things, like if you get an elite quarterback, which the Giants probably think Drake Maye can be that, then you go out and do it. Plain and simple. You start Daniel Jones or Drew Lock for half the year, if not the entire season. Give Drake Maye a legitimate redshirt year and let him sit the bench, and you bring him in at the right time, and hopefully he hits in the first time he's out there. Hopefully we know right away, like, oh, this guy's legit. He's going to be really good. So hopefully that's how it goes, but we'll see. A lot can happen Thursday. I will make my reaction that night, and hopefully it's going to be a fun and happy night, and we can sit on here and, talk about how great of a night it was and how memorable it's going to be. Or maybe not. Maybe it'll be Roma Dunze, and I'll be bored. But, I'm throwing too much shade at the guy. Like, look, Roma Dunze is good. I don't mean too much hate because he might be a Giant soon, so I can't say too much. But you know what I mean. Not the most exciting pick, but it is what it is. So we'll see. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Of course, leave a like, subscribe, and all that, and I'll talk to you guys next time.